What's up, everybody? Grant here from Spectre Racing. So today we're looking at my kind of Tesla style floating dash that I put in my 2008 Mustang GT. So first of all, let's zoom in and I'll show you how it's actually constructed. So I know a lot of you are gonna laugh at this, but it's literally held on by Velcro. I'm using the very hardcore, I think it's like the 40-pound Velcro. Now, before you say, oh, that's just gonna fall off, this has been on here for 4 years. I have not made a video on this, but as you can see, as I take it off, what it is a giant block of wood that is Loctited to a spare dash plate that I bought at a junkyard. Now, what you can do, if you still have your stock radio, you can actually just leave it and route the wires a little bit differently than I did. Right here is just the OBD wire that connects to the car, and we'll get into that in a second here. As you can see, here's the Velcro. So it's just a block of wood, no nails or anything in case there's an accident. Just Loctited to the console. This has been on here for 4 years like this. Never fallen off in a race. So, as you can see, I have some Velcro on the back. Just kind of align it. Let me turn it off so I don't press the buttons randomly. Of course, it always kind of bothers my OCD that it's not on there straight. And voila. Okay, so over here you can see I have loads of different cables. I have charging cable, and over here is the connection to the car, the OBD. So throughout the car, actually, we have tons of USB connections, as a lot of the racing accessories take USB connections. On a street car, you may or may not need all that stuff. So let's kind of get into it. This is a standard Galaxy Tab S, running one of the newer versions of Android. But, you know, you got your standard set of apps here. I, in the Mustang here, mainly just use Track Addict and Torque Pro. Track Addict I use on the track, obviously, and Torque Pro I use just around town. Okay, so with Track Addict, use it at the track, autocross, you know, different events. They have different formats. They have drag race, even 4x4 trail, which we used at the rally. If you've seen the video, I'll put the card in right here. Raw data, which I use sometimes if I don't feel like using Torque Pro, because the data is easier to interpolate here than it is in Torque. Circuit, so I have it set to Sebring. Segment for like autocross, drag race, obvious. So you can go into your previous sessions here. You can see data log, which I just data logged yesterday when I tested the new hood vents, and you can kind of see the time, kind of, you know, the air. I have it right now set to coolant time, so when I turn on the car, and you can see it kind of rising up until it plateaus. And obviously, you don't have to just use this for, you know, use this primarily for track stuff. Of course, I haven't really done full track in a while. Here's Sebring, terrible time. So you can go to the best sector, so you can see the speeds and stuff at Sebring. I really love seeing it, the overlay over like the high-res maps and stuff. My speed segments, I think here, you can see the Mustang can only do 129. The stupid fourth gear. Track Addict can be very useful, and because I can pull the tablet out of the car with the Velcro, it's just super easy to pull it out of the car, go in the nice air-conditioned trailer I have, which you haven't seen that video. I'll put a card up right here too. And, you know, just kind of see where I can improve on, see my braking zones. You can set all kinds of settings with braking zones, speed maps, and you can compare it with friends. You post it online and everyone makes fun of you for being slow, and all sorts of fun things like that. So it's just really useful having this inside the car. So one of the other apps I use that's more useful on the street, so if you have a street car and if you like setting this up, is Torque Pro. Torque has a lot more cool dashboard focused stuff, and because I'm using a direct connection to the car via USB, it's very fast. You can get those wireless adapters. I don't like using those anymore. They cause at events, there's a lot of interference and stuff, and they can disconnect sometimes. It's going to bug me that that it can't connect to the car right now. I don't have the car on. But because this is a direct connection to the car via USB, and then on the go, which is an Android little adapter, so you can kind of connect like SD cards or something to your Android tablet. You can have all sorts of things. You got the clock, I can hit a screenshot button, your G meter over here, your revs. What I really like about Torque Pro is you have your lowest and highest values. So, you know, if you use this on the track, you can see your highest speed value immediately. With Track Addict, you have to kind of do that after the race. I can glance down and see, oh, I just hit 150 miles an hour. I wish. Or the coolant temp. What was the highest coolant temp? You can set alarms on here too, which I have preset already. Track Addict, I do have alarms set in Track Addict too. I forgot to mention that. I have it set currently in the car, I think at 225 or 230. The car starts to lose power at 212, I think, anyway. It starts to pull timing. You can see your intake air temperature, your lowest and highest values. So I really like this. So I've almost considered somehow running a dual setup, because I really like the dashboard display of Torque Pro, but Track Addict kind of has those race features that are much more useful. So I generally use this on the street, and then Track Addict on the track, because I'm more focused on the track anyway. Okay, so just to cover, the connection to this on the car is an OBD cable. It's I'll put the link in the description below. I'm not sponsored by them or anything. It's just a standard OBD2 connection, which is $19.99, and newer cars have them. But this is an OBD to USB. So what that does is you then get a female Android on-the-go micro USB adapter. You connect that to the USB cable, which you can see here, and it lets you have a direct connection to the Android tablet. And that makes the connection much faster. It's not going to drop out like Bluetooth will, or a Wi-Fi connection. There's no syncing. You plug it in, turn on the car, which I'm not going to do here because it'll turn on the heat exchanger, and you're good to go. So that's kind of it for the Tesla-style floating dash on the your S197 Mustang, although you can kind of use this on any car, really, as long as you can kind of make that customized dash plate adapter and you don't mind ruining a dash plate. In my case, like I said, I bought a spare one for $5 at the junkyard. So all in all, I think the install for this, it was $25 for the cable. It was about $200 for the Android tablet. You can just pick these up used. This was actually a floor model at an AT&T store, so I got it for, I think I got it for like $100. And it's great. I don't necessarily need a tablet in everyday use, you know, but when I do travel, I just take this off the car, and then I can, on the airplane and stuff, if we ever get to fly again, you know, I can watch movies and stuff instead of my tiny little phone screen. I have a tablet, and when I'm ready to race, pop it back in the car, and I have a nice, you know, tablet display here. Like I said, it's never fallen off. This thing has been incredibly reliable. If you look in the older versions of videos we have on the channel, you'll kind of see this in the background. I've had different versions that I've kind of formulated over the years, and the newer Galaxy Tab has worked great. And with the wired connection is what I found the best. And I don't use any connections to the GoPro. I'll do those all manually. When you sync up your your connections, because you can actually sync up GoPros and stuff with Track Addict, you can't with Torque Pro. I don't like doing that. It does freeze up sometimes. If you notice the Daytona video that I did back in April last year, you'll notice that I'm missing a lot of things in that in that race. I was using GPS speed in that race. That's because this froze during that race, which was extremely frustrating. And I found out later on, doing more testing, that the Wi-Fi will freeze every once in a while when you have it connected to the GoPro. So if you don't go out racing that much, you want to record a session synced to your tablet, you're gonna have to sync it manually. I don't think it works that great. So it's not that hard. I just use a snap and some of the syncing features in Race Render, which is the kind of parallel tool to this app, which I've done a video on the channel. You can see here. Has some really great syncing features that make syncing data to your video really easy. But anyway, that's it from me. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I like doing these kind of tutorials on the data and dash displays and stuff. So thanks for watching.